Hi everyone, you are live with Missing Persons Recovery Specialist, Nancy Schaefer, founder of Missing in America. Today we're going live regarding Christie Lynn Farni. Okay, we had seen a news article come out in attempts to revive her case, and I figured for some reason this case caught my eye. Okay, now there are so many angles to this case, which I have no doubt that that's probably one of the reasons why it is still unsolved this day, and one of the reasons why she's still missing. Okay, so, her name was Christie Lynn Farni, or is, no speculation. Okay, now, what's key here in this case is I liked the articles that the news reporters did, but with all due respect, they were very poorly wrote. The information was not consistent or accurate, or all the information that people would need to know would be there. And please ignore the fire alarms. I apologize, but we're having some technical difficulties with them. Okay. Now, this is where the kicker is. And let me tell you, like, when I get through all of this work, I spent hours and hours and hours of going through it. Okay. Christie was last seen December 14th, 1978. Long time ago, yes? Okay, where she went missing from was in Oregon. Now, the day that she went missing, December 14th, 1978, she had testified in front of a grand jury regarding abuse allegations towards her father. If anyone can just let me know, we're on. And if you have any questions, as soon as I stop, I will do a brief I'll try to answer as many questions as possible. Okay, now her father's name was Kenneth Ray Farni. I hope I'm pronouncing the last name right. Not quite the best at that. Okay. Now, the same day she went missing, she testifies in front of a grand jury against her father against abuse. Now, I do know that at that time, her and her brother were staying in a foster home, being cared for 3 days when she went missing, which was December 14th, 1978. Okay, now the town is Medford, Oregon, which is Jackson County. The school that she was attending from the foster family's home was was Jackson Elementary School, which is only a few blocks from where her foster family lived. She was 6 years old at the time, and she had brunette hair. Now, one thing I'm a little confused about, I've seen several different pictures of her, which I am going to be, after the video is done, I'm going to be attaching the flyer so you can see. Several pictures shows her with different shades of hair, and they're drastically either really blonde or really dark, or sort of like a chestnut red in my view. I don't know if maybe it was pictures or how the photos came out that time of year. Who knows? Okay. Now, subsequently in 1977, Christie's mother died in a motorcycle accident, leaving her and her brother with her father. Now, I think this is where the lines of the abuse, as far as allegations, yeah, it looks completely suspicious that a child at the age of 6 goes and testifies in front of a grand jury, is brought back to the foster home, and then made to walk 2 miles to school. No offense, but what were people thinking? 6 years old, really? You testify against something pretty serious. That does not mean he's guilty. I mean, I've seen worse circumstances. I mean, but that's the reason why these older cases never get solved, because there's just so many things out there coincidental. Okay. Now, and just so you know, her father is now deceased. He died in I'm sorry, let me get this straight. His date of birth was 3/4/1947. Mother's maiden name, McRoy. These are from my reports. He was born in Illinois. From what it says, he died in Riverside, California. And the date of his death was 11/29/94. Not a couple months like the newspapers are reporting. It's very, very important that the information that's put out in order to solve this case is actually put out there correctly. According to his death certificate, which I obtained, or his death records, that's what it states. Now, she also had another half-brother, I believe, that was living with the father and I believe the stepmother at the time she went missing. His date of birth, from what my records show, is January 8th, 1966. His mother's name, it looks like Ingram, male, was also born in Illinois. Date of death is Los Angeles. Place of death is Los Angeles. Now, his date of death, which is kind of eerie, shows 9/25/1995. So it was not even a year later, at the age of 29. So as far as the reports, I'm going off of what records I was able to obtain, which I want you guys to have all the information. And if any of the stuff is incorrect, please feel free to, it's, Amanda, we're talking about Christie Farni case. It is a missing girl at the age of 6 back from December 14, 1978. Okay, so from what reports, the father died at the age of 47 prior to his son, which had the same name, but with the name Junior attached, of course, the prefix afterwards. Died a year later. There's just so much going on with this case. Now, I'm not sure, but for some reason I'm coming up with the last name Irving in my investigation, as well as Phoenix, Arizona connections. The news reports did say that they have family members at that time of the news came out in Arizona, California, Oregon. Now, to protect people's immunity, it did say this person's last name used to be Farni as well, which also still resides in Arizona. Now, they talk about the stepmother. I did find a joint deed filed in California. I am trying to get information to see if that information is accurate, but it was filed in 1988 in California. Faith, who's heading this, I believe, who's really, really looking for you, and this is one of the reasons why I wanted to take a shot and take a look into this case, is her brother, which was also, I believe, staying at the foster home with her as well. His name is James Dean. There are other YouTube information regarding this case, but then again, this is the reason why I want to do this, is the facts are not all out there, and the facts that are being put out there are very vague, and a lot of misinformation. In order for the bring this poor little, I couldn't stand to see this guy cry on camera, and we're hoping that maybe we can bring him some closure. And there's another reason why I'm interested in this case, and I'll tell you why at the end. Okay, now let's go back to the facts. Okay, Christie's case, again, December 14th, 2006. She testified. The timeline is she testified at the grand jury that day against abuse of her father, against her father, which is now deceased. He died at the age of 47. Now, allegedly, according to reports, and like I said, a lot of this stuff, the information is, everyone's reporting something different. But what I was able to ascertain is that allegedly the school called her foster parents at the time that she was only residing there for 3 days at 1:30 p.m. And I think what hurt this investigation and what law enforcement is saying is she wasn't actually reported missing until 4 p.m. that day. And I believe that was from the foster family. Now, from what the brother had said in one of the videos, James Dean, was that she was actually supposed to be taken from the court or wherever she testified with the grand jury straight to school. Why was she brought back to the home, and this is an assumption, and then have to walk at the age of 6 years old after, I can't even wrap my head around it. Everyone knows that around that time, 1978, 1977, they were notorious for serial killers around that time. I mean, it was just really bad, especially in Oregon. Well, I want to try to help this case and see what I can do. Now, we do know that him and his son, which is now deceased, it shows that his birthplace was Illinois. So I'm going to look into there as well. Family members where he eventually moved with his, I believe, it says stepmother, so I don't know if it was a girlfriend or a wife. I was not able to ascertain any. Yeah, she was 6 years old, Gina. I was not able to find any marriage records, but I still am going to still continue to dig into this case. Okay, her NCMEC number is N as in Nancy, C as in Charlie, M as in Mary, C as in Charlie, 601237. Her NCIC number is M as in Mary dash 035339216. Now, the agency number is 78-10419. Her nameless profile, which is MP for stand for missing persons, 6052. She wasn't entered into NamUs until April 15th of 2010. Okay, it states that there are no dental information on file, which she was 6 years old, which is understandable back 1978. That's totally, I have not been able to obtain the stepmother's name yet. I have a pretty good idea of what it is, but I want to make sure that the information that I put out is accurate. I'm waiting to hear back on that. Now, they did say that there's DNA available also in NamUs, but my question is what form of DNA do they have, are they using? Is it mitochondrial? Did it come from the brother? We know it probably didn't come from the mother because she died in 1977, a year prior. Now, I'm a little confused because there was also states that there was another half-brother with the name Charles Hughes. So we have I believe a half-brother that died supposedly of suicide at the age of 29. which was the same last name as her father. The father died, which in reports it says a couple months later, but I think they got the reporting wrong. He actually died on 11/29/94, and they said that they would have liked to have speak to the other brother that actually lived with him and the stepmother at the time of her disappearance, but couldn't. But it shows here that he didn't die until 9/25/1995 at the age of 29. Were they not available to talk to him prior than that? That's they're not, the news reports are not putting out 100% factual information. Now, okay, so far now I have three brothers, possibly. One that's deceased, one that I believe maybe is a full brother that's looking for her, and if he sees our video, we are going to do whatever we can to help him and his family, to our extent, to bring closure to this case. And I feel your pain in your video. So let's go forward. Okay, now, the half-brother that committed suicide briefly lived with the father around the time that Christie went missing, but later killed himself. Newspaper are reporting age 13. Maybe he was 13 at the time she went missing, but so he didn't kill himself at the age of 13. I'm seeing records he killed himself at the age of 29. Okay, now one of the theories that law enforcement has is that Christie's extended family either took her to a safer place or was a victim of a serial killer. Now, from reports, 2 people have come forward and I guess confessed to her murder, but they were able to, which this is very common, they were able to determine that these people who said that they murdered her were probably serial confessors. Now, also from reports that Christie's father and her stepmother took a lie detector test, but we all know psychopaths or sociopaths, which I wonder if there's any kind of mental illness in that side of the family, can pass a lie detector test. We all know that. Okay, now, in case anyone has any information, Christie's date of birth is January 18th, 1972. You know, sorry about that. Now, if anyone has any information with this case, they can call 541-774-2250 or 541-774-4783. Now, at the time, she was 3'8", 50 pounds at age 6, which is 44 inches. She had brown hair, brown eyes. In some of the reports, it does say that she had a burn scar on her chest, but I don't know where. She had a slight speech impediment. Both of her ears were pierced at the time. Now, the place where they say that she was residing with the foster home was 50 Block and Peach Street in Medford, Oregon. Again, she was only with her foster family for 3 days. I'm also trying to get their name as well. I'm going to be doing updates. Now, this whole thing is just tragic. The mother dies in a motorcycle accident in 1977. She goes missing in 1988. Her father dies in a motor vehicle crash in 1994, and her half-brother commits suicide in 1995. It's certainly, sad when you think of it. Okay. Does anyone have any questions? Now, the joint deed in Maricopa County, which is Arizona, which is kind of funny when I say this, which was December 19th, 1988. Again, I'm going to withhold the joint deed name until I get a little bit more information and make sure that my information is accurate. Now, another thing that caught my eye is one of the pictures of Christie. Because I myself have seen pictures of Princess Doe's hair. We all know that I've been involved in trying to identify Princess Doe, which is a young girl that was found brutally murdered in a cemetery in Blairstown, New Jersey. And, you know, one thing that I think, because I actually seen some of the pictures, and I know what her hair looked like, and that's one of the reasons why I question her hair color at the time that she went missing, because in the one photo of her is very similar. Now, if I know that she went missing in 1978, it's very possible around that time sex trafficking was very, very high. And we all know that Princess Doe was suspected to be a prostitute or being trafficked, is one of the theories. The hair color is identical to hers, which I'm curious to know, even though they have DNA on file. I'm going to be reaching out to NamUs and see what type of DNA, and if it would make an actual hit in CODIS, or if it has to be done manually, in a manual comparison. So now, Princess Doe, everyone that's she's like the most, I think, famous unidentified female, was around that age that Christie would have been if alive in July, which is kind of ironic for other reasons that I'm going to withhold for a little while. But my recommendations to their family, now I did look to see, and NamUs, she is not ruled out on Princess Doe's on her website, nor on her NamUs profile. Now, another thing is the reason why that strikes in my head is they recently, not that long ago, had isotope testings done on Princess Doe, I believe with her teeth and her hair. I don't know which form they used, but I do know that they attempted isotope testings, and Arizona was one of the places that she was predicted to have been at some point prior to her New York State or New York connection. So I am going to start doing my own digging. I am going to be reaching out to the detective in this case to see if they can take a look at Princess Doe as being possible for Christie. I do know she's not on the possible match list. And I know since since I know that someone who writes books that is in Weird, New Jersey now has Princess Doe's file and confidential photos. Yeah, how do you like that one? I'm going to reach out to see if back in the 80s. I don't even really know how accurate. I've seen wrong autopsy reports several times. I mean, matter of fact, I don't think I ever read one that was absolutely 100% on. Could they have missed this small burned scar on her breast? Now, one thing that was telling about Princess Doe is, for some reason, she only had nail polish on one hand. And I believe, I actually, you know, that's just my thing, believe that she was left-handed. Also, she had her ears pierced, and she also, they described her as having inverted nipples. I've done the math, it's possible. She would have been in her 13 or 14 around that time that Princess Doe was found. I'm always looking for a possible match for her. Again, my question is, what type of DNA does she have, and would it have to be individually compared? I know they do have the mitochondrial form and CODIS for Princess Doe, which is attached to the mother, which may not be a factor here because her mother was deceased in 1977. Now, if anyone has any information to this case that can bring closure, they could also contact our website, which is www.missinginamerica.us, and you can report 100% anonymous tips. Completely 100%. You don't have to talk to anybody on the phone. You don't have to give your name. You don't have to give your email address. All you do is on the top, you write which person that you're referring to, which missing person. We do unidentifieds too, so you could either put, you know, if it's unidentified that you're putting a tip in, you can put their information or some way for me to know which one, and then all you have to do in the box is write what the tip is and then push submit. That's it. It is 100% anonymous. If there are people that may have information about this case, most of the people, especially in her family, you know, a lot of them may have information, may be afraid to come forward, may be afraid of being implicated. I'm going to ask you to do the right thing and use our 100% anonymous tip box on www.missinginamerica.us and bring some closure to her brother, please. That has never stopped searching for her. 1978. I encourage other people that are in this field to assist him in his search for his sister. I think with everyone pulling together, I pride myself in teamwork. So that being said, if there is a licensed private investigator that is willing to also help his family pro bono, you can reach out to our website or our Facebook page. Our Facebook page is Missing in America. I see all messages coming in and out of it. If you are a licensed private investigator and would like to assist this family, you can contact me and I can get you in contact with the right people. You would be doing a very, very good thing. Again, if anybody has something that they want to get off their conscience at 100% anonymity, you can put anonymous tips to www.missinginamerica.us. I'm going to be doing a second part to this video. soon. As soon as I finish some more of my investigating, I'm also going to reach out to law enforcement regarding this case. I want to make sure that the information that I have obtained is accurate as well. And I'm going to be doing some more digging, and hopefully we can bring some closure to this case. If her brother would like to reach out to us, he can also do the same. You can either reach out to our Facebook page, or you can reach out to our website. You could, just give me your information. Thank you very much. And remember, everybody, never stop searching. And I wish everyone a Merry Christmas. Bye-bye. Oh, I'm sorry. What were the allegations about her father? Sorry, Gina. I just briefly saw. Gina, she's 6 years old. At the time she went missing. She'd be 44 now. I'm looking into that, Gina. The only thing that's put out there is physical abuse. I don't know what type of abuse, if it was sexual, physical, emotional. So we don't want to put any rumors out there. That's one of the things I'm going to be reaching out to law enforcement about. So that way I can get that 100% clear, because it would allow me to profile this case a little bit better. All right, does anyone have any more questions before I go? I hope I answered all the questions. Okay, guys, thank you very much for spending time with me today, and have a great day.